All right, so I want to officially welcome every one of us to this section of web design without writing code. So this is Digital Z Hub, a platform where we offer technological skill training. We offer training on both basic, advanced, and professional programs. So some of the program we offer here, we offer training on cybersecurity. We offer training on data analytics. We also offer training on web development using programming languages. But this very one you are attending does not require writing of codes. So this is simply leveraging on content management system where our theme and template has been programmed. All we are going to learn is how to install it and how to customize it to be able to design our desired websites. So this section is actually a paid section, but we decided to make it free for some of us. There are some of us here that actually registered for it, and there are some of us here that are yet to register. So we decided to give you a tasty section with this first section, and thereafter, if you find it interesting, you can take a further step to register so that you can follow through to the end, where you'll be able to learn most of the things that matters. So tonight, our assignment is very simple. So we shall be looking at the following aspects or topics. So we'll start with what is WordPress. We also know the benefits of learning a website design with WordPress. They will also look at who are the people that are qualified to actually learn how to develop a stunning professional website using WordPress. This will be discussing the prerequisites. What are you expected to have as a basic knowledge before you can actually use WordPress to design stunning websites? They will also look at how you can make money as a WordPress website designer. There are numerous unlimited opportunities around building websites using content management system known as the WordPress. We'll also look at web hosting. So we are going to learn how to host your website. So when we get to that topic, make sure that you stay tuned so that you stay to that aspect where we shall be unveiling the secrets and the processes involved on how to host a website. They will also look at how to set up a website hosting accounts. So these are some areas we are expected to cover in this very session. And I promise that it's going to be exciting. So if you have any friend or any loved one, you feel that they should take advantage of this session, because a lot of information are beyond what is listed here, because we shall be expanding each of the topics. Okay, so let's start with what is WordPress web design. What is WordPress web design? Now, WordPress web design refers to the process of creating websites using WordPress. So what is the WordPress itself? What type of platform it is? So WordPress is one of the most popular content management system, which is abbreviated to CMS in the world. 40 to 50% of professional websites we have out there are built directly or indirectly with WordPress. It allows individuals and businesses to build websites without needing to code from scratch. So you can see I have already started telling us one of the advantages of using WordPress to build websites. It does not require writing of code. It's simply installing of themes and templates and using drag and drop widgets to be able to put your entire website together. Now, a simple analogy to explain the concept around building professional websites leveraging on WordPress is like you purchasing already built house. You know, it's different from you buying a virgin land, and then after that you start clearing the land and start doing some excavation work before you are able to erect the building. You and I will agree that it takes a lot of time compared to when you purchase already made house. All you need is just to pack into that house and start modifying the structures inherited in that house to suit your own structure. So that is a simple analogy to explain the difference between building websites using content management systems such as WordPress and building websites from scratch, leveraging or using core programming languages like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and the rest of them. So those methods are considered to be time consuming, because if you look at it from this angle, you will agree with me that no client actually will give you up to a month. Let me use that as benchmark. No client will give you up to a month to build a website. An average time you are expected to spend in building whatever website you are asked to build should not exceed 3 to 4 days. And it is impossible for you to achieve that using the programming languages. And that is why we are training people on this fastest way of developing websites. Another reason why this is considered to be the best platform when it comes to freelancing or remote, or let's say freelancing jobs. Because if it's going to be enterprise, that is, if a company is to engage you or to employ you as their programmer, there are times that most of them will not allow you to use WordPress. So as good as it has its own disadvantages, and it also have its own advantages. But the advantages of building your website using WordPress, they outweigh the disadvantages. So as in the course of the training, you will see me highlighting some of the numerous advantages using WordPress. So I've just pointed out one in this slide, that it saves us from writing of codes from scratch before we can actually develop a professional website. Now, let's quickly talk about the key element of WordPress. Now, this foundation I am giving us is very key. I don't want us to feel bored that we are spending, let's say, the first 1 hour or 45 minutes on giving us this foundation. it is very important we have the knowledge of the concept around the platform you want to use to build website. There are some terminologies you need to be acquainted to before you can actually be able to use or deploy this platform to create websites. And that is the reason why I'm running us through all these fundamentals so that we can have clear understanding on what we are doing here. So let's quickly discuss the key elements of WordPress design. Now, when we say element, these are some things you can never do without if you want to leverage on this platform to build websites. There is no average a web developer that uses content management system that does not know about what is called themes. That is the first term you should understand if you want to use WordPress or any other related content management system to develop websites. So let's quickly know what is a theme in WordPress. Themes are pre-designed templates that control the visual appearance of the sites. So a practical example is just like your physical building that you are in right now. You will agree with me that there are blocks. The house you are in has a structure. The structure defines the shape, whether it's a square shape or whether it's a rectangle or is a triangle. Is the structure of the house that defines it. Now, one thing in using WordPress is for you to understand or to know the difference between theme and template. Theme is just what formulates the structure of the entire website you want to develop with the WordPress. While templates, they are the contents that you inherited as you purchase or install anything. Now, we can actually install a WordPress theme without content. So which means that you are going to use what we call the building blocks of building websites using WordPress called widgets. So we are going to use, you're going to use widget or any of the page builder, which could be the Elementor or page layer and any other one out there to be able to create those contents. So let's understand theme. That is what forms the structure of your entire website. Then for those of us that are also familiar with using programming languages to build websites, we all know that there is a language called HTML, which is called hypertext markup language. That is the language that actually defines the structure of your website. And how does it achieve that? It actually achieves that using the tags. So the tags are what the HTML use in defining your website structure. Now, coming back to WordPress. So when you purchase the theme itself consists of the HTML that define the structure already. So you are not going to bother yourself writing HTML codes. That is what it means. So if the theme is what defines the structure, it means that that is what you will have achieved using HTML to do. So that is what actually forms the appearance. Now, just for us to be able to know what WordPress is actually saving us from. Now, if you are using core programming languages to develop a website, you are going to also need a language called CSS, which means Cascade Style Sheet. Now, the role of that language, it is not a core programming language. Even the HTML itself is not a core programming language, but they are subordinative language. They are there to assist one way or the other. So just like the way the HTML define the structure, the CSS determine the appearance, the presentation of those content to the users that will be able to give the users appealing appearance that will end up them having what we call user experience that will make them to want to visit your website. That is the coloration and the presentation of those elements in a simple structure that someone will not find it difficult to exploit your website content is what we know as the user experience, which is usually called the US. Remember, we have the UI, which is the user interface, and the US. So that is where those terms are derived from. So which means that every developer, irrespective of the platform you are using, you are expected to have the mindset of giving the user good experience. And you are also expected to create a user-friendly website. So these are some of the key reasons or advantages attached to this platform. So when it comes to creating a consistent interface, and when it comes to creating website that gives user good experience, you give it to WordPress. Now let's also talk about plugins. There's no way you build website with WordPress, you will not understand what plugins are. In fact, plugins are what we use in WordPress to increase the functionality of our website. So a practical example, if you are creating website using the manual method, which refers to using the programming languages, which takes time and also expect some level of expertise before you can, come up with a professional website, you are going to begin to write script using programming languages like JavaScript for you to be able to write some interactive features in that website, for you to give some life to your website. It means that you are going to integrate, you are going to write those scripts from the scratch. But if you are using WordPress, if you need any function in your website, let's assume that you want a registration form. All you need to do is to look for a plugin that can help you to develop or to insert that form. So you can see that's why it's called plugin. So it is a kind of pre-written software by someone, and then you are just plugging it into your website just to increase your website functionality. So that is actually what we use in expanding the functions in our website when using WordPress. An example, if I want to integrate payment gateway into my WordPress website, that is, my website has shopping page where I am going to display our products to our customers, and then for them to be able to purchase, then online without visiting my physical structure. So which means that I need WooCommerce as one of the e-commerce plugin for integrating modern or multiple payment gateway. It is very simple. Unlike if you are using core programming languages, you have to write a lot of code now and then for you to be able to achieve that. So these are some of the key things you need to know as you prepare yourself towards using WordPress to build websites. So you must understand this key element. It's a must. There is no way you are going to build websites using WordPress without involving team. There is no way you are going to build websites with WordPress without involving
plugins. So if we are to look at it, like I've stated in my slide, as a plugins, they are add-ons that add extra functionality, e.g. contact form, search engine optimization tools, security, and the rest of them. So another key element of WordPress that you will definitely is a must is called page builders. So like I was saying, the web developer that uses core programming languages will write their structural code, and also their decorative codes, that is the CSS, and then their interactive code using JavaScript. But in WordPress, how are you going to add all the content we see across different pages? For example, you have the landing page, which is known as the home page. You also have the About Us page, where you tell the visitor who you are, for you to probably develop certain or for them to have confidence in you. So you need to tell them, you need to explain who you are. Now, those pages, or these pages that I just mentioned now, there are content in them. In some of the pages, you are going to see images, you are going to see a hypertext like link. Some of them you are going to see write-ups. All these are web pages content. The question is, how are you going to publish all this across those pages if you don't use or have any builder? So the page builder is what is replacing the role of your HTML and the CSS, because the HTML is what we use in adding the content, while CSS is what we use to determine the presentation of those content. But in this case, using WordPress, all you need to do is to install a plugin called Page Builder, which could be Elementor or Page Layer. And then once you install it, they provide us widgets. The widgets in this case, they are the building blocks. They are like the tags in HTML, which we use in publishing the content you see across website pages. So what you are going to learn here is for you to learn different widgets. For example, if I want to add an image to my web page, I need to know a WordPress page builder widget for adding images. If I want to add contact form, I also need a WordPress widget for adding it. Whatever it is as a content, being it button, being it video. If I want to integrate my social media, like my YouTube page, I want to connect it to my website, or integrate all my social media handle in my website, I am going to be looking for the widget which are already wrapped inside the page builder I am using on how to add those content. So page builder is very important. Now let's look at the definition there. The page builder are the drag and drop tools like Elementor, Web Bakery, that makes designing easier without coding. So what you are actually leveraging on here that makes you to say that you know how to build professional website without writing code is because you have knowledge of these widgets that are wrapped inside the page builder you are using. An example of the page builder can be the Elementor. It can be the page layer. It can be the WP Word Bakery. There are a lot of them. You can go to Google and search WordPress page builder. You are going to see a lot of them. But as many as they are, there are some that are mostly used, particularly Elementor is the best page builder. So most WordPress team you are going to buy, because toward the end of this program, I am going to show you how you can purchase a theme from Team Forest and other platform that says all these themes and how to install it. So there are a lot of technicality that are involved. It's not just paying for the theme. You should have the technical skills on how to install the theme, on how to activate the required plugins before you can actually use that theme to build a successful website for that client. So another key element I want to explain here is customization. Ability to modify design using settings, CSS, and sometimes PHP. So even though in WordPress we don't write code, there is a room for you. If you feel that you want to achieve certain things with writing of code, there is additional CSS, additional interface where you can actually view the meta or the tags section for you to be able to inject any of your code you want to write manually. So one of the key elements of WordPress is that you can easily reconstruct things. You can change things to the way you want them. That is what we mean by customization. So nothing is fixed there. The only time you will experience that some item being fixed, it is when you are using a free version, the one that you did not pay for. Because there are themes that are pro, there are themes that are basics. So if you install basic theme which are free, now there are some widgets that you can actually that you cannot make use of. For example, now if you are using Elementor, the image slider, that is a widget that helps you to slide images simultaneously. You must have visited website. These are the things you struggle with to implement using Bootstrap or JavaScript. You can easily do it within 5 minutes. You should be able to create your image slicer. Now, if you are using Elementor Basic, if you are using a basic theme, you might not be able to do that. But if you stay true to the end, I'm going to show us a secret. Now, normally, if you want to purchase Elementor Pro, it will cost you not less than 138,000 for you to purchase the one you can use to edit more than one theme. You can buy the one for editing one theme. You can buy the one for editing multiple themes. But I'm going to show us a secret whereby you can bypass the whole of that cost and end up following the back door to be able to to crack that Elementor Pro and be able to access all the pro features. Now, another element I want to discuss here is the responsive design. Responsive design. We all know I am also a developer that develop websites using the programming languages. So I know the difficulties we experience when we are using core languages. For example, if I am building websites using programming method, for me to implement responsiveness, I have to start calling each of those elements or the container element and start defining their media query for them to be able to be responsive. But you see, anything you are doing in WordPress is mobile responsive, is tablet responsive, is a laptop responsive. Think of any device. And as we go on, you will see how while you are designing it, you can at any given point in time check how your website you are building will display on a mobile device, on how it will display on computer, on how it will display on tablet, which are the three main known devices that are used in exploring websites. I hope we are following. Let me get response. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Let me get response from at least one person just to know if you are following.
Yeah, we are following, sir. Yes. I'm following. I'm following. Okay, you've gone offline.
Are we following? Please, I
Yes,
need
sir, we are
response
following.
from at least one person.
Okay, sorry. Please, can I get that response again? Are we following?
Yes, we are following, sir.
All right.
With you. And with you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Just in a few minutes. All right. So we are still on the key elements of WordPress website design. So let's talk about the SEO. So this is one of the elements that is one of the major reasons why we leverage on this platform. So when it comes to optimizing your websites, that is to make Google to rank it so that people can be led to your shopping page or to your website. That is one of the main reasons why WordPress is used, because for those of us that are digital marketer, when clients consult us that they want to actually create awareness, they want people to know about their products. So one of the recommendations we give to them is for them to have a website so that they can be accessible on the internet beyond their physical location. Now, even the so-called web developer, when they build website for clients, the primary intention is for the client to promote their products. Now, any website you build, particularly if it happens to be e-commerce website, and it's not Google SEO optimized, it means that you are not going to drive leads. You are not going to drive sales. So one of the reasons why, if you aim to become a digital marketer, or even in our digital marketing program, we have this program inside it, because this is a platform we teach them on how to build their landing pages. That is the page where they must have displayed their products. So Google SEO, performance optimization, is one of the key reasons why we leverage on WordPress, because every theme that you purchase, they have already installed Google SEO plugin inside. Even when we get to the designing aspect, you will see as you are designing, there is Google SEO that will be telling you whether this website can be ranked, the percentage of it that is good for ranking. Then as you are doing that, you will now know whether you need to change your design. So that is one of the key elements of WordPress. Now let's quickly talk about who is qualified to learn WordPress. Who is qualified to learn WordPress? So let's quickly talk about that. All right, so here I have highlighted what it takes for you to learn WordPress. Now, the first one is anyone can learn WordPress. Anybody can learn WordPress. You don't need a tech background to get started. Here are the breakdown of the type of people who are especially well suited or qualified to learn WordPress. Students, looking to gain digital skill can use WordPress to build portfolios, blogs, or earn as freelancers. So you can see complete beginners. No coding or web design experience is needed for you to be able to build professional websites with WordPress. You don't need to write code. So that means that without having any solid tech background, you are fit to learn WordPress. So WordPress is beginner friendly, unlike the core programming languages that are not beginners friendly. So with visual dashboard and drag and drop tools like the plugin we just discussed now. Designers, these are people that can actually learn WordPress because they are already creative. Graphics or UI designer who want to turn their design into a website. WordPress bridge the gap between design and development. So the development is used when you are to write code from scratch. And that is why it is called web development. Now, which means that you learning how to build website using WordPress, you might not 100% call yourself a developer, but you can call yourself a web designer. The reason why you cannot call yourself a developer because you do not write codes. You don't create the website from the scratch. So those people that uses code to develop website from the scratch, they are the set of people in programming we refer to as what? Developer. Either it is app development or web development. Both of them have to do with writing of code from scratch. So this very one that you are learning is just like you are bypassing some of those protocols, like the shortcut, so which is good for freelancing jobs, where you are able to determine the method you are to use to build your website. So if you are looking up to working remotely, this is one of the best platforms to use. Why? Because if you are working remotely, most company does not really know or care about the platform you are using. What they will be after is what? The result. Then if, for example, now client, if you are going to be a freelancer, that is, you build website for companies, they don't have right to question you which format you want to use. What they need is results. So if you can come up with results that is better than those that are using programming language, of course, they will never be able to measure any height with you. Towards the end, I will show you some of the websites that I have built with WordPress. And then if I give it to you and then you relate it with the manual one you are building, you will see that at some point you abandon the coding. So this one actually sometimes discourages the manual programmers because it makes all their effort look worthless at times. So just imagine they are spending 6 months building website and somebody just come up within 1 week. And when you compare the two websites, they are not even in the same category. So they'll be forced to be discouraged somehow, but they have their own space. So WordPress is not actually to discourage them 100%. So what I'm saying is that if you want to be a freelancer, you want to work, you want to be self-employed, you want to be building website for organization, being it NGO, being it government website, the best platform to consider is WordPress. Because you have a lot of structure to inherit, which ordinarily you may not have the technical know-how on how to structure those type of websites. The truth of it is that there is no single person that can actually imagine the format of all kind of websites. So when you hear developer telling you that they can build all type of websites, they are saying that because they have scripts. Because there are some persons that we take this WordPress script, customize it, to look like the one they develop and re-upload it. So most of the websites you see out there, they are script derived from WordPress, making them look as if they are manual. Okay, so now let's quickly talk about, so we are still on who is qualified to learn WordPress. So marketers can use WordPress to create landing pages, like I have explained before, manage content, and optimize for search engine optimization. No need to depend on a developer to make changes. You see it? If a developer creates a website for you using the traditional languages, I can tell you that if you want to change every single thing, you need to consult them. And each time you consult us, we charge you for it. But using WordPress, I can build a page for you. If you are a real estate, maybe realtor or real estate person, I can build a website for you. And then I will just give you a page where you can just be uploading your pictures. You don't need to call me. I can just give you access to your dashboard. So you do the rest by yourself. But most of these things are a bit difficult to implement if you are using the traditional method, which is leveraging on the programming languages. Non-profit churches and community leaders, these people are qualified to learn WordPress. Create website for awareness, donation, event, and community updates. Maybe just to give updates periodically. So they are qualified. Useful for anyone leading an organization. Bloggers, of course, you and I know. Bloggers don't joke with using WordPress. Almost all bloggers knows WordPress because that is the best platform to use for periodic updates. So bloggers and content creators. So the word we have today is, content creating. You see everybody creating content like I'm doing. I'm creating content. Everybody's creating content. Some of them are uploading their content in a platform where they get paid. So content creators, they need WordPress. They use WordPress to publish and manage content online, supports monetization, creating ad, affiliate marketing, and the rest of it. No special qualification needed. All you need is basic computer knowledge. And for you to be able to join this class, it is a confirmation that you have basic knowledge, because people who does not have basic knowledge will not know how to navigate around the Zoom application you are using to attend this class. Okay, so let's move further because I want to make sure that we get to the practical aspect for the end of this section. So how to make money with WordPress skills? Why am I here? If I ask every one of us now, I know our motive is to make money. So after learning all this for these 6 Good Fridays, that we shall be engaging us on how to build this website. At the end of it, you should have a target. What exactly do you want to get in return? So making money as a WordPress designer is very achievable. It is very achievable. It is a high demand skill in the digital space, and it's very stressless. It's not a program that is stressful. It's something that you can even develop with your phone. You don't even need computer before you can build websites using WordPress. With that, your Android phone, you can build websites, provided you have all the resources in that phone. So it highly demand skill in digital space. Here are the most effective ways to earn income using your WordPress skill. So why do I have to highlight all this? Because at the end of learning this, you should think of making money. You are spending data, even though we allow some of us to join free. You are spending data. You have invested your time. So you should be able to what? To think of earning from it. Services you can offer that can earn you money with WordPress skill: full website design, redesigning old website, landing pages, speed optimization, mobile responsiveness, WordPress troubleshooting, freelancing, offering your services to clients as freelance WordPress designer. Platform to start: Fiverr.com, Upwork, or these are places where you can have these are platforms where they are actually advertising remote jobs. So all you need to do is to create a very strong profile. So at the end of this program, you should be able to create a portfolio, very strong one, using WordPress that can fetch you or earn you jobs across this platform. Now we are now delving into the practical aspect. So I believe everything that I've been explaining since is to get us equipped for the journey ahead of us. So I don't want us to learn it like a roadside learner without knowing the rudiment. And that is the reason why I have to take us through the journey so that we can wire our system towards how we can achieve our goals. So let's quickly talk about the web hosting. So, but before I go into web hosting, I would like to get another response. Is there any question on what I have explained so far that you want me to throw more light on? Please, I want to give us 2 minutes to attend to that before we move into web hosting. Any question, please? Okay, I have to call you by name. Okay, Kiss Bob, do you have any question?
So I don't have any question. The only question I wanted to ask was, using WordPress, and creating websites using WordPress.
Scotty,
No question,
Flourish,
sir.
do you
No.
have any question? Oh, sorry. It's possible you are. No question, right?
No question, sir.
All right. We're good to go. All right. So now let's quickly dive into the web hosting. Now, this is a very crucial aspect of website design. Your website is not meant to reside in your laptop after creating it locally. Your website is meant to be uploaded into a server. It is when you upload it in a server that it can be accessed by the user through the address, which we call the URL, whose full meaning is Uniform Resource Locator. Now, there are different ways you can actually install WordPress. We can install WordPress offline. That is, you don't need to pay for a server before you can install it, but you can download an open server like XAMPP server and be able to configure WordPress in it and work directly on that local server until you are done with all the customization, that is, changing all the content to your own content, before you can think of uploading it to the remote server. Now, we also have the online WordPress installation. This is where you install your WordPress in your hosted server. So, which means that you must have purchased your domain name and also your file space. Now, it is that file space that you are going to install the WordPress. And that is the method we are going to use for this training. I see the local installation or the offline installation as a waste of time. The only reason why a developer may consider that option is when he wants to save data. But when you look at the disadvantages attached to it, though you have the flexibility, you have certain flexibility when you are using that, but okay, let me cite a scenario why some of us want to do that. One, maybe you have not been fully paid by the client. The client probably have given you advance payment. Let's say 600,000. The person has paid you 300,000. And he's the one that suggested the URL. Probably you contacted him that how will you want your website URL to be? So which means that if you install your WordPress in a remote server while you are developing, the client can be checking alongside with you. So, but when you have a client that have paid you fully, you don't need to consider that. Even at times, it is when you tell the client that now you can log in and start viewing the website that they will remember to even do that. So this one saves us a lot of time. And that is the method we are going to use. Then towards the end of the class, if I'm going to ask us questions for those that have interest in also learning how to install it locally, it is also very simple. Now, web hosting is a service that allows individual or organization to make their website accessible on the internet by renting space on a server. So there are some images that I have used to explain the concept of this web hosting. If you look down somewhere here, you will see servers. These are dedicated machines. This is the business of some individuals, some companies. Their work is to buy space, is to provide, to buy a very high system that has internet, that has constant internet, and the internet will be very strong, that cannot disappoint. Then, because it is expensive, after purchasing it, they will start selling the space to you and I to be uploading our file. And that is why when you upload your website in such server, then you will now give the users an address to locate your website content in that server that you have hosted your website files. And that is why when you go to your browser, you type www.digitalzhub.com. And then the next thing, the browser is just like a proxy. It's just like a platform that you are sending an errand to go to somewhere. Where is it going to? It's going to the server. If you look at the image as I'm explaining, the image have also explained what I'm saying. So the browser will contact the server that a user needs what content that has been uploaded in this server. So what happened is that a folder is created in that server as soon as you make payment. And that folder is named with that URL that is leading the users to fetching your content from there. So every website have a unique address, which is called the Uniform Resource Locator, that helps the browser to locate your unique information stored in a particular server and display them to the user. So anytime you try to fetch details from a server, if the browser is unable to contact the server, the browser will reply you that page or content not found. So which means that the browser tried to connect to the server to make available the information, but it couldn't. So there are so many factors that can actually cause that. Number one, your internet strength, because fetching record from server needs strong internet or connectivity. Number two, it could be that your address you must have typed on the browser is not right. So it's just like if I give you my own address now, if I make mistake, if my address is supposed to be 2B and I mistakenly give you 2A, you will not be able to locate me. So that's what we are saying. So it must be precise. So that is what happened. So if you look at the note I added here, I said website files are hosted on a server. Whether you are using the programming system where you have to write code, one day when you are done designing it in your local machine, you are going to what? Buy space in a server, and then you also buy an address that will always take the users to that server. So two things you are to pay for. As basically, there are other things you are going to pay for, security and the rest, but two things you are going to pay for. And the process of paying for these two things, it is what we call what? Web hosting. That is the process of paying for the domain name. The domain name, like digitexz.com.ng, is the domain name, which is the address. Then I am still going to pay for the space in that server where my file will be uploaded. That is another thing you are going to pay for, and that one is called file. You are hosting file. So you are hosting domain name and you are also hosting file. So that is what web hosting is all about. Is a service, is a company that offers, that helps us as developer to store our file in their own server that people can access wherever, irrespective of their location, once they have your URL. So that's a simple explanation of what web hosting is all about. Now, you cannot install WordPress theme without hosting. Remember, I said we have two installations. Why I am categorically saying you cannot, because even the offline, at the end of the day, you are still going to host before you can upload it. Because the essence of creating a website is not for your purpose. It's not to dwell in your system. It's to make it accessible to everyone. So whether you install the WordPress, you download it from wordpress.com and configure it in a local server, after you have edited whatever you want to do, you are still going to what? Host. So hosting is one of those basic things. Now, let's quickly discuss the key component of web hosting. Please, there is a reaction button on your Zoom app. In case you have question while I am talking, you can react. Once I say it, I will pause. So let's discuss the key component of web hosting. The key component of web hosting. Number one, server. So there's no way you can talk of hosting and you don't have idea of server. It's just like you saying you want to save money in the bank and you don't know, you don't have idea of the bank you want to save the money, whether it is GTB or whether it is First Bank. So that is how it is. Anytime you talk about hosting, the first thing you ask yourself, which server are you going to use? Now, these servers have different criteria for choosing them. Just like if you want to save money in in the bank, you need to consider the security and some other factors before you choose one of the bank. So the same thing, that is how it is even in web hosting. You consider a very strong server, a server that does not disappoint, not the server that when the client want to buy a product, that is when the website is down. All right, so a server is a powerful computer that stores your website files and delivers them to visitors. Deliver them to visitors. So that is what a server is all about. Domain name, your website address, e.g. example.com. This is linked to your hosting so people can access your website. It's part of what I have already explained before. Now, there are also another component which is called the bandwidth. The amount of data your site can send to visitors in a given time. It is known as what? Bandwidth. So affects speed and traffic what? Handling. So any time you are hosting, take time to access all this. Then another component is the storage. Another component is the storage. And that is very important. So you need to check the volume of your content and be able to know whether you are to buy 6 gig space or you are to buy 8 gig space. So the amount of space available for your website files. So you cannot create a website populated with so much content up to like 8 gig, and then where you are hosting, you are now buying space like 6 gig. So you are going to be short of space. So this is another image that explains what web hosting is all about. So let's quickly look at types of hosting. Type of hosting, so that you know whenever you want to host, you know which one exactly you are subscribing for. So let's talk about the share hosting. This is one of the most used hosting. This is just like crowdfunding. That is what the company purchase one space and then everybody is sharing it. That's why it's called what? Share hosting. That one is more affordable because we are managing one room. That is what it is. Compared to when you say, I want to rest self-contained. I don't want any other person. I want to have my own dedicated server. So it depends on your activity. Like banks will not do this share hosting because they do a lot of things within their server. So your site shares a server with other websites, and it's affordable, best for what? Beginners. Then we have VPS hosting, virtual private server. More control and resources than what? Share hosting. Then we have dedicated hosting. You rent an entire server, best for large websites. So there are companies that can actually afford this. So not an individual that is pricing you 700,000. You now go and say you want to host a dedicated hosting. Cloud hosting. Your site uses multiple servers, which improves speed and what? Reliability. So cloud hosting is one of the introduced since we have cloud computing. It's more reliable and it's faster than what? The share hosting. Because they buy a quota. It's not determined, the storage is not determined by the storage of their local storage. So manage hosting. The hosting provider manages all the technical what aspects for you. So now, the next thing we want to talk about is for us to go into the practical aspect now, and which is the last aspect of this session. So if I want to host a website, where do I start from? because now I have been made to understand that until I host, I cannot install WordPress. So the WordPress version we are going to use to learn is the one that will be offered once we host a website. Is a free version that will be given to us once we host a website. And that is the one you use to practice. Then when you now start collecting jobs, you can now buy a license team. But practice purpose, except you have some money to spend, I would advise you just leverage on the free team that comes with your hosting as a kind of gift to you. So now let's switch from slide now. So if you have your notes, you can be writing your step, because most of the things we'll be doing now, we just have to be moving from one level to another with an average speed. Now that we have a background, I believe it's not going to be difficult for us to navigate through. So I will start by opening a browser. So the first thing I am going to do is to identify which hosting company do I want to use. Because in the course of my explanation, I said there are companies that provide these services. So you as a developer, you are not the one to code it. Don't say that because you cannot code the hosting server, you are not a developer. No, that is not your responsibility. So when you are done designing your website, you are supposed to pay for the package. So now, two things I've highlighted we are paying for. So let's, the first thing we are going to do is to create a client account. That's the first thing. You create client account. Now, this client account will offer you a dashboard that will help you to manage all your client websites that you have hosted in that account or under that account. Now, when you are creating this account, please, you don't give this information to the client you have. This is your own personal dashboard that helps you to oversee all the website contracts you are handling and the ones you have handled before. So once you are able to identify the hosting company you want to use, there are different types of hosting company out there. We have Bluehost, which is one of the best, but it is expensive. And the payment gateway of some of them, all these international base, they are more strict than if you are using all these indigenous hosting company like Google Host and the rest of them. So for this program, for this session, I'm going to use a very simple hosting platform, which is Google Host. And I can assure you that the skill sets you need to host websites with this, you don't need another class whenever you want to host with Bluehost. They have almost the same processes. And as we continue, I'm going to tell you if it is Hostinger, because there is another one. You can use Hostinger, you can use Bluehost, you can use GoDaddy, you can use Google Host, you can use Cisco. There are a lot of hosting companies. But the only advice I have for you is that choose wise. It is better you choose the one that someone have confirmed, or you make your diligence research so that you don't get scammed. So you need to find out. Now, I am recommending Bluehost. So when I say Bluehost, if you want to search for it, you can just say www.bluehost.com. So this is also a hosting company. This is a company where you can host your website. So they have different procedure, but are speaking almost the same thing. Hosting company is hosting company. They are into almost the same type of business. just like the way you have MTN, the way you have Glo. They all in the business of connecting people, sharing or selling data. So the only thing that Glo can tell you that their procedure for you to buy data from them is this, but at the end of the day, the same data you are buying. So you don't need a coach to teach you all the hosts across all the hosting company. Once you can host successfully with one, you should be able to navigate around it. So now when you log into this one will tell you that what, starting with what, 2.5, 2.95 per month. Now, one of the advantage of this one is that when you host with Bluehost, the first 1 year, your URL is free. You are going to pay for only the 5 space. You are not going to pay for your address. But let me tell you, it is a marketing strategy. I'm not trying to demarket them. So you have to check whether you want to go that way. Because if at the point you are hosting, you don't have enough money, you can actually leverage on that. Then after a year, then you will have gotten some money. Then when they now ask you that you now pay for the URL that you did not pay for initially, then you have money. But like I said, it's a marketing strategy. They actually did that so that they can bring more people in. Now, after that 1 year, that money that you are supposed to pay for that hosting, because then you have already uploaded your file, the price will skyrocket in a way that they will make their money back. Why other platform will tell you pay for the URL and as domain name and the hosting file at the same time. That is their own standard. And they make it a little bit what? Affordable. Now, if it is Google host, you also type what? www, which is the one I said we want to use, www.whogohost. And then you press enter. Now, this one is, they rank themselves as #1 hosting company in Africa, not just Nigeria, and they are actually doing well. The only thing is that their server speed, depending on the package, because most of these ones that some of us will be complaining that their servers is not fast, it's because you are buying basic package. If you buy advanced package, you will notice that all these are not issue. But I can tell you that they are trusted and they are good. Now, recently they have improved on their security. You see that it is not easy for hacker to break into their system. So they have improved. Now, it was Google host, but now it has been sold to Go54. That is why, though you type URL, that is a Google host, but now is now showing you what? Go54. It's still the same website. So it was Google host and it was purchased over by Go54. Now, how do you create your accounts so that you can use that account to buy those 2 things I mentioned earlier on, which constitutes what we are referring to as hosting? Now, you click on my account here. So once you click on my account, it's going to prompt us an interface. So this is the home page. So from here, let me put this here. So from here, I have already logged in and have captured my login detail in the browser. But for you that does not have an account, because I expect you to host after this class so that you can have hosting cPanel before the next class. Because the next class, we shall be focusing on how to install the WordPress itself and then start customizing it. Now, if you don't have a client account, you click on register now. Now, if you were to be Bluehost, they can start by showing you the cost of each plan, And then after you have picked the plan, they will now redirect you to the registration form. Now you can see this one now. They decided to prompt you registration form, that is register first before they allow you to see the plans. These are different marketing strategy. Now, this one wants to get your details so that they can do what we call email marketing. So that at least, even if you are not buying, they've already gotten your contact. They can keep reaching out to you now and then. On a very good day, you will buy their product. So if you don't have an account, you click on register now. Now, once you click on register now, it's going to prompt you this. So make sure you are following, particularly those of us here that have registered, and I hope the rest of us would like to register to continue the class with us in the next section. Make sure you follow what I'm doing, because your assignment is going to be before the next class. You must have gone through this and you must have secured your client account. And then you must have also hosted so that you can have your cPanel detail, in which we will now be able to access the WordPress. Now, you fill in your detail, your name, your last name. Me, I have registered, so I'm not going to go through all this. Email address, your telephone number. Make sure you pick your country number, your country code if it's not selected by default. Then you create your password. Please, like I advised us before, all these details should be your personal detail as a web designer. It shouldn't be the client you are building the website for, because you are going to use the detail to be hosting subsequent websites. So once you have a new project, you go to your client page, and from there you place your order. So all the websites you have built will be tracked right in your dashboard. That is why it shouldn't be client information. So you fill all this, choose the currency you are going to use for making payment when they prompt you the payment gateway. Second, please. All right. So once you have done that, you click on sign up. So let me just go through this first interface. Let's say Peter, and then let's say John or Jude. Let's say email address. Let me just choose this. Phone number 0706966519. So let me just create a simple password. Ross at hello 1 2 3. So you can view your password here. Now it's telling you that what include at least one capital letter. So I will just view it and switch this to capital letter. So I have met the criteria. Now choose my currency, let's say Nigeria, Naira, or US. Then I'll make sure that I comply with the privacy policy, and then click on sign up. So I just want us to see the next interface. So in case you are doing it yourself, because I'm going to switch to my own account and quickly complete the entire process over there. So now registration successfully. Now, the next thing is you can save your password if it's your system, or you say never. Now, once you have registered like that, then you have to sign in. So you have to log in. So you type that email here, and then you type the password. So the email, I don't know if it was this, so I'm going to use my own. Then you click on login. So now you try to log in with a new IP, your email. Sorry, please confirm your email. So how do we confirm the email? You can see a message here. To confirm this, because I use my other device, so I have to log in to my email and go and confirm this. Oh, sorry, this is not the email. Okay, yeah, this is the email. Okay, so let me quickly go and confirm that. Gmail, sorry, Yahoo Mail. Okay, so let me see if there's any confirmation here. So this is not the email. Is it the Gmail? This should be my Gmail. Let me see.
That is the email. It's showing there.
Okay, so this is the message they actually sent. So I will say, well, confirm it is me. So this is this is part of the security improvement I'm talking about. So now it will bring us back, and then you can see that what confirmation what successfully. Then you click on login. So let me click now, since I've confirmed my email. Now it's asking me for a code, two-factor code. So now you have to download or a particular software from your Google Play Store that will always help you to authenticate. That will always help you to authenticate. So let me quickly open that app and show us from here. This is the logo of the app. I don't know if you can see it, or you will not be able to see it. But let me just, the name is 2FA Guide Authenticator. So the number they are requesting for is already showing on my phone. So I will just type the number, and there's a limited time. So once you are able, you download the app from Google Play Store into your phone. It is called Authenticator. That is the software. Now that brings you to, this is the dashboard I was talking about. And these are different websites that I have hosted, the ones that are running. So now, for you to access that section where you can actually place your order, you have to come to what do you want to buy. Remember, I said two things are involved: the domain name and the hosting file. These are the ones that I have purchased. So if you want to buy, you go to domain. So from domain, you specify you want to buy new domain. So you click on what? New domain. If you want to transfer your domain to another hosting company, there are procedures that are involved, but it can also be done. So now I will say new domain. So once I click on new domain, it's going to what? Ask you to search for the name. So what this means is just like CAC. If you want to register your business, they will probably tell you to submit certain names, let's say not less than 2, and then they will go to their server and check. If they find that someone have already used it, they will decline it. So the same thing in web hosting. Despite that we have different hosting companies, does not mean that if somebody mess up with one particular URL, he can run to the other and be able to succeed using that URL. It is not allowed. They have a central data system. So if you are searching, let's say you want to use this address, let's say KL Nigeria Limited. Let's say I want to use this as my hosting name, .com. Now we are going to talk about extension. So whenever you are hosting, they will call domain extension, and it is very important you understand it so that you don't waste your client resources. Now, any website that ends with com is a commercial website. So if you are hosting business website, please it should end with .com. If you are hosting non-profitable organization website like NGO, it should not end with .com because it is not a business organization. It's just a charity organization. If you are building a website for school, you can use .edu. So there are different extensions. So you can add little research when you are doing this in order for you to get some clarity. So if I select search now, so it's going to tell me if it is I'm allowed to use. So you can see, wonderful. So the name is what? Available. Just give me a few minutes. Just give me 3. Okay, so like I was saying, so the name we type is available. Now, there are times you enter the name the client actually gives to you, and then it will decline it. So you have to go back to the client. Please, when you are entering this, it is professional. You consult the client to be able to have an idea, because there are some of them that after you have hosted the URL, they can tell you that that is not how they want it. So you ask them to suggest first. Then when you impute it here and is inclined or decline rather, then you can get back to them that there's need for them to what? To change it. Someone have used something similar to that. So now you add to cart. Now what we are seeing here is what? For 1 year. For 1 year, if it is going to end with .com, is 24,000 for 1 year for you to bear the address for 1 year. This is not the space where you are going to store your web content. This one is just to bear that name so that this name cannot be reassigned to someone else. Now, if it is .com, it's more expensive because it's a commercial website. They know that you have intention of making money. That is why it's more expensive. Now, if I add .ng to it, because I know some of us may not want to be able to do this, so just add .ng, you will see that what? Then the cost will reduce. Now, what was 24,000, just because I added .ng, it drops towards 6,450. So this is affordable. Now, once you have done this, you click on add to cart. That is, you are ready to buy it. Now it's added to cart. So you can see it here. If you click here, you will see your quotation here. Now, like I said, we are actually paying for 2 things. But if the client you are building this website for is not ready yet, but he has paid you, you can secure the name so that someone else does not claim it before you start designing the content. Now, let's go and buy the space. So this address now that we have applied for is just an address. Now, where is this address going to take them to? Which content? Where will the content be stored? That is why we are involving buying of file space, which I mentioned in my slide. So for you to buy file space, you go to hosting. So from hosting, remember I was talking about share hosting, talking about cloud hosting. So you choose. So if it is share hosting, you click on it. Now, as soon as you click on it, you will see this particular button that says what? Buy hosting. And before showing you this is capturing the ones that I have also purchased this particular package for. Just like the way it was showing me the domain names that are active, is also showing me the file space that I have also purchased. So I will now click on buy hosting, and that will bring you to these different types of hosting. Now, today we use different languages. There are different languages we use in implementing backend. WordPress uses PHP. So this is WordPress now. Then uses PHP. You can use this for WordPress. You can also buy this one directly from WordPress. This one is for those that will be implementing their back end with the Django. So if you are implementing your back end with the Django, then and you now host PHP, it's not going to work. Then there are some persons that are also implementing their back end with Node.js, which is an extension of JavaScript. That is the server for JavaScript for backend. So they are going to what? To use this. But for us, we are using this. And now look at the amount they have tagged here. That per month for our file to be stored in their server for each month, we are going to be paying 2,500 naira. Remember that per year, we'll be paying 6,400 for bearing that URL. Now, which means that at the end of the day, your total is going to be 6,450 plus if you are buying this per month, you can buy it per month, you can buy it maybe quarterly or maybe semi annual. So let's say we are buying this, I will click on buy. Now, you cannot buy this without attaching it to a domain name because the file must attach to a URL. That is the reason why we quoted the URL before coming for file, because the moment I want to place my order, is going to ask me that this file space that you are buying, to which address is tied to. So that's why when I type www, for example now, when I come here and type www.dgtechz.com, you will see that what it will take you to, because I'm using a Google search instead of address location bar. So you can see that the website is Google SEO friendly. That is why Google was able to capture it. So you can see now that this particular address is the first one that we quoted. Now, the file space that I purchase must be tied to this address so that my address does not call another person's file. So every file you upload in a server is tied to a URL. That is the reason why we first of all quoted the URL. Now we want to buy the file space. Now, the moment you want to buy file space, they are going to ask you, what is the volume of space you want to buy? Now, this should be considered based on the content you would like to put in there. So it is wise you have an idea of the volume of your website content before you think of buying space. Now, this space, they what we call traffic. Traffic simply means how many people can exploit your content from that server at the same time and still have the service rendered to them. So it's just like you having a smaller door, and that door, people are struggling to pass through it to access your content. And somebody having a wider door that people are easily walking into the space and getting your content. So there is nothing colliding. Everybody is going there freely and they are getting their stuff and they are coming out. But if the place is so small, you will see one person hitting the other and that will disrupt some movement. That is why when you are building website for like banks and some organization, don't settle for this kind of space, 15 gig. Go for don't settle for 8 gig, which is the least. So for the purpose of learning this program, WordPress, I will not advise you to go for these higher ones. Just go for 8 gig so that you can pay 2,500 per month. But if you are going for 15 gig, you are going to be paying 3,500 per month. If you are going for 30 gig, you are going to be paying 4,500 per month. If you are going for Supreme, you are going to be paying 5,000. So if you multiply this by 12, that will give you an idea of how much you are to add to this amount here to know how much you are actually spending to sustain your website throughout an entire year in their server. So I'm going to go with this, but before you choose any package, please take time to read the description. Know the disadvantages and the advantages. Now, this is where I want to advise some of us. Sometimes when you are dealing with potential clients, don't settle for less, because if you settle for less, they will appreciate you at the beginning. By the time they start generating high traffic, they can tell their digital marketer to be driving lead, and those leads will be connected, either running Google ad or Facebook ad. They will now be referencing their website as the landing page. So which means that at some point, there will be high traffic, people coming to the website to pull data. So if at the point you are developing as a developer, you settle for this just because they will appreciate you that the cost is less, bear it in mind, if you don't explain to them, tomorrow they will feel cheated. That is why you take your time to break it down for them. There is a package for this. You give them different quotation and you highlight some of the benefits. Look into this one and check what is here that is not here. So you point it out to them that if we are settling for this, this is what we will not be able to get. Do I still go ahead? But they will ask you that, is there room for me to upgrade tomorrow? Yes, you can go for this. Along the line, when you notice you have very high traffic, you can migrate. But then you are going to be buying service. I'll teach us all that probably as we proceed, how you can buy additional service from what you purchase while placing your hosting order for the first time. So let's just quickly go with what? Buy this to the one of 2005. Now you can see it now. The quote is here. They have added the cost of your domain registration. So make sure that you take notes of the domain you are buying this file into, because it is possible that you must have quoted one before and you abandon it, and now you are quoting another one without taking into consideration you wrongly buy file space into another domain name. Then when the person log in, you'll be wondering that you cannot see the file. So make sure you check this. If you want to delete, you delete. You want to change it from 1 year, because there are some clients that can actually say, okay, I don't want this yearly disturbance. Just buy the name for 5 years so that we can close our eyes. Then you can change it here. Now, this is the VAT added. This is the cost of what? Just the domain name. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to add this very one, this 1 month. This is where they are telling you that how many months file space. Look at this, select billing cycle. That is what? If you choose here, every month, they will tell you to make payment for you to sustain your content. If you click here, every 3 months, they will ask you to make payment. If you click here, every 6 months, if you click here, this is annual. So now, if I add this 25,000 plus 6,000 plus, let's say approximately 7,000, if I'm going with this, I should be spending not less than 30 something thousand just to sustain my URL and the hosting file for 1 year. Now, if I'm going for this, then once I click, it will be added to what? To the cost of my URL hosting. Now, once I have seen the analysis, I will choose my payment method. How do I want to make payment? This is the last stage, so we'll soon round up. Now, you select any of these available payment gateway. So this particular company has these 2 methods of making payment. If you are using Bluehost, they will also list out their allowed payment gateway. So Paystack is one of the best Africa payment gateway, which you are going to learn in this program as how you can activate it in your WordPress website. It's one of the things that is very easy. Within, let's say, approximately 30 minutes, your people will be able to want to buy things and make payment using Paystack. And I'm also going to teach us how you can program your payment gateway to be your Bitcoin. You want people to be able to pay with Bitcoin and other what USDT and other Web 3.0 operators. So now let's click here. Then you now select Pay Now. Once you click on Pay Now, it will take you to the checkout page. And now please wait. In a moment, it's going to provide all the available payment options. So from there, we will not choose the one we want to use. So let's hold on for it. Good. So we are here. So from here, you can pay through your card or you pay through transfer. Now, transfer is the best option I want to recommend for us because of things that are going on the internet. You are safer to an extent because if you use card, it will require you entering your card detail, whatever. You may not know whether there is a software exploiting your details. Now, if you click on transfer, it will prompt you their own account name and their account number. If you try paying again next time, they can show you another account number. But what matters is that you are seeing their name. Once you transfer this amount of money to them, while you are still looking at it, you will see them connecting, and then you will see immediately payment successfully. Then they will tell you that what you have paid. Then you will not check the email you used while you were creating that dashboard that I talked about the other time. They will send you a message that says, let's say that URL hosting details. So from there, you will be able to see your cPanel login detail. You're going to see your user ID, and then you are also going to see your password. So this is just like what I am saying. So if I select global, this is one of the websites that I just completed with WordPress. So if I come here now and I select global, whatever, and then I put, let's say, cPanel. This is how you go to the back end of your website. If I select this, it's going to redirect me. So now part of what they are going to send to you as what you have purchased, as you purchase the URL and the file, is the cPanel login detail. Now from the cPanel now, from that detail, you will see username. Whatever username that is sent to you, you impute it here. And they will also send you some password, which you can change, and then put the password here. And then you click on login, that will take you to the back end. But in this case now, the back end you'll be taken to when you fill this is like this. So if I come back here now, if I come back here and I click here, let me show you how I am going to get to the back end. This is asking me for the two-factor login again. So I go to my phone. So this is going to be the last aspect for this section. So just hold on. I want us to round up by 10 as promised. So let me quickly enter this. So I'll show you the kind of environment you are going to see when you log in with your cPanel details and how you can navigate. So if I don't want to be going through this method where I will call the website URL /cPanel and then provide my username, because I can also go through my dashboard. That's the benefit of that dashboard. From that dashboard, I will escape all these logs because I am the root manager of this website. So from here now, I will now go to share hosting. I will now select share hosting because that is the type that I hosted. Now, which of them do I want to view its back end? So I will just come here, that global that I wanted to enter, that is asking for this, from my client dashboard, I will trace it here and then click on manage. And then from manage, it will now show me the cPanel. So this is the cPanel we are trying to access here. Just watch how I'm going to access it. So this option will not ask me for the login detail because I am going through my client dashboard. So which means that peradventure you forget your cPanel login detail. If you can remember your client dashboard login, from there you also have this command program there. Then from here, this is where this will have taken us to. If I'm able to enter the username and the password, this is the kind of environment it will bring us to. So from here, I will now scroll down to WordPress. So this is the WordPress application we are going to use in the next class. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that we have learned a lot in this section. So if you have any question you ask, we have 2 minutes to close this section. But before I close this section, I want to give us this information. So we have various classes that are actually running every Saturday, like tomorrow morning by 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. I'm still going to be live on master class. That one is not free on data analytics. In the evening of every Saturday and Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., I also have another set of data analytics class that I teach not just data analytics and also mentor them on how to create online profile that can give them a cutting edge when sorting for online jobs. Then our cybersecurity class is about to start every Monday evening between the hour of 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. There are a lot of packages we offer on this platform. So if you are interested in any of this training, or you have loved one or friend that you feel that they should connect to this platform, please you can call 070-6966-5919. Now, the person speaking to you since, my name is Egwero Prosper, an IT consultant and a developer, a data analyst, a cybersecurity expert. By the grace of God, I'm the leading faculty at NIT Asaba. So if you want to register for physical training, you can also come to NIT Asaba, and then I will be there also to be your instructor. But if you want online training, DigitalZ is the right place to meet me. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please let's leave the remaining time for interaction. You have any questions so far, please ask. So let me just give us a few minutes for interaction. You have question, ask. So if there's no question,
Sir, I want to ask something
here and see us next Friday. Next Friday, we will just start from how to install and set up WordPress. All the logic involved, how you can install free theme, how you can install P version. I have a lot of projects that I'm working on right now, which I have been able to purchase.
I want to ask something.
Put on your license team,
Put on your
which I will be able to show us
There are questions.
how I install them, the platform where I bought them from, how you can place order, how you can, extract all the required information, how you can install the demo content, how you can set your plugins. All these things I will be privileged to show us in the next class. So if you have any friend that ought to be here, please, it's just 30,000 naira for 6 Friday for you to become a pro web developer. And at the end of the day, if you feel you don't have value for your money, DigitalZ can refund it. We can assure you of that. So I think somebody have message here. Okay, no message. Any question, please?
You have question, ask please. Question.
I have my question, sir. I have my question. First of all, this class, the network was, but I want to ask first of all, was it recorded?
Yes, even as we are talking now, it's recorded. The link for watching it will be made available to you in the paid group. So if you pay for this program, I know about 2 of us already pay for it, you will get the video in that group where you are added.
Yeah, I paid for it.
So you get the video before the end of tomorrow. You will get the link. It will be uploaded to Digitz YouTube page. So from there, you can watch it.
All right. Okay. All right.
Is that the only question, sir?
That is, I will follow up on the recorded class because I didn't follow up. I said exactly after night because bad network connection here. Bad network. So I wasn't being able to follow up more. So I'll follow up from the recorded class. As I'm showing you now, it's still showing me your internet connection is unstable. So I'll follow up from the recorded class to see how you guys started. I'm so happy that you guys didn't start with installation of WordPress. It's just the basis you started with first. So
Yes. It's very important you have this basic knowledge. It's part of what you need to know as prerequisites before you can go into setting up WordPress. All right. Any other question, please?
Donatus, I thought you said you had the questions.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Donatus, you want to say something, sir?
I was actually talking because of him.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's been cleared.
Okay. So how many of us would like to, I know there are some of us here that did not pay for it. How many of us would like to pay for it and continue with us in the next class? Because the next class is not going to be free. We only made this one free just to encourage some of us to see how it goes. So if you are here, and I think everybody here, you all have my contacts. Mr. Donatus, I know you have my contacts. So in case you want to further from here and you have someone to recommend, okay, we have a Flourish. Flourish, I would like to hear who is Flourish here. Flourish. I don't know if Flourish is still here. Okay. So however, in case you want to enroll to continue with us, like I said, you can call or WhatsApp 07069665919. Then you'll be able to enroll. And then in case you also want to join physical class at NIT Asaba, you can also visit us there. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this section. We are most grateful that you made it here this evening to encourage us. And we believe that we have all learned something. So good night, everyone. See you next Friday.
Good night. Thank you, sir.